Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again, doing another discography countdown. Today we're going to be talking about the power metal legends Helloween. They just released a brand new album this past Friday. I'm going to be including that in my overall rankings. I've only listened to it a few times, so where it ends up in my overall ranking over the years may change, but for right now I've got some of my first impressions and I'll let you know what I think about the new album. But I also want to run through all their other albums, let you know what I think. What can you say about Helloween? Pretty much started European power metal, the originators from the mid-80s. Just really killer stuff. Those early albums are the stuff of legends. Then they had a lot of lineup changes. Maybe some of their middle to later years didn't put out the most consistent albums. Nothing that was really too stand out. But nonetheless, there is still some quality material in there. Overall, I don't think they really have any terrible albums. There's some that maybe aren't even close to on the same level as some of the rest. But anyways, let's just get into this. We got 16 studio albums. I'm going to count them down from my least favorite down to my favorite. I'm not going to be including the Metal Jukebox covers album or the Unarmed album, which is like stripped down versions of other songs. Just doing the 16 actual studio albums of original material. So without further ado, here we go. Coming in last at number 16 is the album Rabbit Don't Come Easy from 2003. This is definitely one of their more modern albums. To me, there's just nothing really too stand out on here. There's nothing really too original. Almost feels like they're just going through the motions. A couple okay songs on here. Just a little Sign, Open Your Life, Hell Was Made in Heaven. Like, it's still okay, but this is definitely not an album I really go back to very often. You'll see from my list that I'm not as big a fan of the Andy Darris era of Helloween. It's nothing against him personally. I think he's got decent vocals. But most of the songwriting on his albums, it's just not on par with the classic stuff. And yeah, let's just move this right along. Up next at number 15 is their second most recent album, My God-Given Right from 2015. This one, once again, I just never really got that into. It didn't stand out to me that much. The title track, My God-Given Right, is okay. Heroes is decent. But all in all, just not an album I listen to all that often. Up next at number 14 from 1994, the first Andy Darris album, Master of the Rings. When this one came out, yeah, it's quite the change going from Michael Kisk's absolutely amazing vocals to Andy Darris, and the style of the band completely changed. This has still got some decent songs on it. Perfect Gentleman is very catchy. Soul Survivor is okay. But as a whole, this album's not that consistent. It's not that good, and that's why I have it ranked this low. Up next at number 13 is the last Michael Kiske album from 1993, Chameleon. Much like the name of the album, they were really going through some changes on here, really tried a completely different sound. This is really not a metal album at all, kind of just a straight-ahead rock record. Definitely not my favorite. The vocal performance is still great. It's just not my style of music, not the Helloween I want to listen to, but still some okay songs. First Time, I Don't Want to Cry No More. Just all in all, great vocals, but songwriting-wise, not my favorite. Up next at number 12 is the album Seven Sinners from 2010. Kind of in line with My God-Given Right, very similar, just not anything that's too stand out. It's okay, Who is Mr. Madman? World of Fantasy is kind of a decent song, but all in all, just not an album that I love that much. Now, coming in at number 11, Better Than Raw from 1998. It's another Andy Darris album. A little bit better than the ones we just talked about. This one is actually pretty listenable. I don't mind it that much. Falling Higher, Revelation is a pretty good song. All in all, just a very decent modern power metal album. It's maybe not considered a classic, but it's decent. Let's move it into the top 10 now. These ones from here on out, they're all pretty good. Coming in at number 10 is The Dark Ride from 2000. This one very similar to Better Than Raw, very similar style, very similar sound. Mr. Torture is a great song. The title track, The Dark Ride. Salvation is a really good one also. All in all, yeah, a decent album. This is like a 6.5 out of 10. Not much better than that, but it's still decent. It's still listenable. Up next at number 9, we're now getting into some really better albums here. Time of the Oath from 1996. I believe this was the second Andy Darius album, and this one is a lot better than Master of the Rings. Really some catchy songs on here. Forever and One, really good ballad. Really like that one. Steel Tormentors, got some great vocals, great riffs. All in all, pretty solid album. Now we're getting into like 7 out of 10 territory. This one's pretty decent. Definitely still like to listen to this album. Great power metal album. Up next at number 8 is Gambling with the Devil from 2007. This is definitely a heavier album, a more modern sound, but really catchy stuff on here. Kill It is a good song. The Saints, Dreamland. Just, yeah, all in all, pretty good album. So I can't even read my own writing. That's not Dreamland. It's Dreambound. I knew that didn't sound right. But yeah, all in all, pretty good album. That's what's coming at number 8. Up next at number 7 is Straight Out of Hell from 2013. Even though this is a more modern album, I think it's leaps and bounds their best one of the modern era. A lot better than My God-Given Right, even though this only came out a couple years before it. This one's just got a really heavy sound to it. It's really in your face and really great songs. The title track, Nabatea, is great. Burning Sun, really catchy album. I actually really like this. It kind of gave them a new life compared to some of the preceding albums. I thought this one was actually a real standout. Up next at number 6 is my favorite Andy Darius era album, Keeper of the Seven Keys, The Legacy from 2005. This one is a double album. It's very long. It's definitely maybe a little excessive. There is some filler on here. That's why I can't put it higher than number 6. But there is a lot of really great songs on here. The King for 1,000 Years is really great. Pleasure Drone, super catchy power metal song. Silent Rain, Light the Universe is a nice ballad. All in all, really killer album. That's why I have it this high. But now we're into the top 5. These are easily my favorite 5. And you'll notice I haven't even talked about the new album yet. So yeah, it's making the top 5. But it's not in at number 5. It's going to be even higher than that. That's how strong of a first impression it is made. But and at number 5 from 1991 is Pink Bubbles Go Ape. This is a Michael Kiske album. No more Kai Hansen on guitar on this. He left after both Keepers albums. But nonetheless, this is still a pretty good album. Maybe the lyrical content is a little goofy with the song like Heavy Metal Hamsters, although it's still a really good song. Kids of the Century, absolutely great opening track. Your Turn is a nice ballad at the end of the album. All in all, really catchy, killer power metal album. Deserves its spot in my top 5. Up next at number 4 is the brand new album from this year, from a couple days ago, self-titled Helloween. What can you say? This is one of the most highly anticipated power metal albums of the last, decade, easily. You're bringing back Michael Kiske. You're bringing back Kai Hansen, writing some long epics. It's a really throwback sound, but still with the modern touches. It's kind of the blending of the two eras of the band, and I absolutely love this album. I have only listened to it a few times, so maybe this, I don't think it'll go higher. It could go lower maybe after some other listens, but I think this is a fair spot for it. It's really killer stuff. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do yourself a favor. It's probably easily going to be the best power metal album of this year. Maybe it'll even make my top 10 albums of the year after some more listens. But yeah, best songs on here. The opening track, Out for the Glory, absolutely killer. Best Time, kind of a throwback Helloween song. Of course, the big epic that was released prior, Skyfall, like a 12-minute song, definitely got an old school vibe to it. Can tell Kai Hansen had his fingerprints all over that song. The vocals on here are amazing. Maybe Michael Kiske's vocal range isn't as good as it was back in the day, but he still got it, man. It sounds so great. I love how they blend all the singers together. Just all in all, great fucking album, really great comeback. It deserves the hype, deserves a high spot on my list, and that's why it's coming in at number 4. Now into the top 3, absolutely epic classic power metal albums. They started the genre. These ones, this is where it got really tough because I absolutely love all of these. Coming in at number 3, I'm going with the debut from 1985, Walls of Jericho. This is the one and only album that has Kai Hansen actually singing as well. His vocals are definitely an acquired taste, definitely on the higher register. I absolutely love it though. This is like a faster Iron Maiden, like very fast, almost thrashy, but still with that kind of like new wave of British heavy metal twinge to it. But absolutely killer speed metal. Just amazing songs on here. Ride the Sky, Metal Invaders. And depending on which version of the album you have, like the version I have also includes the mini EP that came out before this album. And I mean, the EP is possibly even better than Walls of Jericho. So if you have them all together, it's an even better package because the songs on there are absolutely amazing. Murderer, Warrior, Victim of Fate, one of the best Helloween songs ever. This is just a genre-defining album, an absolute staple for power metal. Absolutely classic, easily a 9 out of 10. That's why it's coming at number 3. That just leaves 2. If you know Helloween, you know which albums I haven't named yet. Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 and Part 2. Let's see which one I rank higher. Coming in at number 2 is Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2 from 1988. Absolute classic. Michael Kisk's vocals on here are just amazing. One of the best power metal singers of all time. The songs on here, just amazing. Eagle Fly Free, March of Time, I Want Out, absolutely classic. The title track, Keeper of the Seven Keys, just amazing, long, epic. Just a staple of power metal, needs to be in your collection. If you've never heard Helloween, just go listen to both Keeper's albums. They are classics for a reason, absolutely amazing. But that just leaves one, and that's Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 is my favorite Helloween album from 1987. We got the poster right up there. What can you say about this album? Just go listen to the song Helloween. It's like 13-minute epic, defines the genre, absolutely amazing. Other great songs, A Little Time, Future World, great ballad, A Tale That Wasn't Right. Just front to back, absolutely amazing power metal album. These are classics for a reason. Absolutely love Helloween, at least this era of the band. As you've seen from this video, I don't necessarily love their entire discography, but they still have a good handful of really great albums, and the Keepers albums especially, and Walls of Jericho, and the new one are definitely all worth listening to. Really great band, absolutely classic. Anyways, that's my list. Let me know down below what you thought of this. What's your favorite Helloween album? What's your least favorite? Do you like the Andy Darius era more than I do? I don't know. I like the Kiske era way fucking better. But let me know your opinions down below. I'd love to hear them. Anyways, until next time, Hammerheart Metal Reviews out.